You can. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon. Well, today we're here to talk on a situation, a very disturbing situation. It's becoming a trend. We're seeing board members limiting founders. We're seeing boards, right? Not understanding their roles, not understanding their responsibilities. And because of this, there's this loggerhead between the boards and the founders and the executive directors. And it has gotten to the point where it has now started limiting the very vision, the very mission that they all came together to, work on.
Mhm.
This is a trend we've been seeing over and over and over again. It is saddening, it is disturbing because you know what it means to want to go after a vision, you know what it means to want to make your dreams become a reality. And then the very people you bring in support you, and now the very limiting factor. It is a situation we have to get over with because if founders can get it right with their board, a lot can be done. Missions will be achieved, money will be raised, support would be just like, a natural occurrence. So today, I have the honor of, having Sharon here on this call for us to talk about this very important situation because we know if we get it right, it means we're really getting it right. So,
Yes.
Sharon, please, let's hear from you on this situation. What's happening in the nonprofit space? Why are founders or executive directors or CEOs having this loggerhead with their boards? Why are they not being able to guide and navigate their board to success?
Yeah, I'm smiling to keep from crying because it is really a sad state of affairs. We, as you know, have been in overwhelm with the number of founders, executive directors, and CEOs who have been reaching out, threatening to quit. They're facing burnout. They are totally frustrated because they feel like there is no movement that's happening, that there is this bottle log between their ability to make decisions and the board then either undermining those decisions or not allowing them to operate independently as the executive director, or founder of the organization to do their work. And so the first thing you talked about was um, board training and board understanding their roles and responsibilities. So I want to take a different approach because it's the same, but in kind of different language. Let's talk about what boards are not. So boards are not programs. Boards are not working in the organization. Boards are not supervising staff. They only have one individual that reports to them, and that's the founder, CEO, president, whatever the title is. That's the head of the program portions of the organization. So when we talk about what they're not, then let's talk about what they are responsible for. They're responsible for oversight. They're responsible for strategic visioning. They're responsible for making sure that that there's an annual audit and the money is being spent where it should be spent. Just really providing that 360-degree view and overview of the organization to guide the organization. So when you have boards, and this is what gets frustrating for founders, when you have boards that want to micromanage, boards that want to tell the executive directors or founders how to operate on a day to day in the program, they're operating outside of what their roles and responsibilities are. They are fiduciary guides, strategic visionary guides for the organization. They are not responsible for managing the budget. They're not responsible for telling you, Rooney, CEO, oh, you can't spend money on XYZ program. That is, if they've approved the budget, if they've approved the strategic vision, if they have approved everything, you can operate independently as a founder, operating basically off of that. So I think first going to your bylaws and making sure that they understand the bylaws. And I bring bylaws up because literally I was with an organization last week in another state, and these individuals told me that their board members have been on the board for over 12 and 15 years. I have to see the bylaws. The bylaws said the board members serve a 2-year term and they rotate off. And if they're invited to come back, they could serve an additional 2 years, but no more than 4 years. And then they're emeritus and they could serve on a committee in an advisory capacity. But these individual board members have been on the board for 12 years and they have dug in their feet and they feel like they are operating programmatically the organization. Dangerous because you are stifling everything that your organization has set out to do to serve the people or the problem that you're existing to solve, because these board members have inserted themselves into the day-to-day operations. That's why I'm in like, I thought it was maybe 1 or 2 cases. This is an epidemic.
Yeah, it is.
It's serious. So I want you founders, you presidents, you CEOs, whatever you call yourselves, executive directors, to hear us and hear us clearly. You need to step back and have two things happen. One, have board training, board engagement, board understanding what their roles and responsibilities are, and then having them operate in those, taking them out of the minutia of your day-to-day decision making. It's not even how you run your household. You don't have somebody on the outside telling you how to spend money on your groceries. It's the same thing. They hired you to run the organization. You report to them at a board meeting, giving your executive report. This is what you said we would do, and this is how we executed the mission for the organization. It's a report out. It's not a coming to them asking them, can you spend, $50,000 to send your kids overseas to do a program? You don't need to ask them permission. If they've set a budget and it aligns with the program, you have all autonomy to spend, to move, to hire, to fire, to retain consultants, whomever, to get to execute the overall mission and vision of the organization. Rooney, it's not rocket science.
It's not. And I think you're saying the truth because think about it. If you don't even understand the roles of your board, you probably may not even engage them the right way. And
Correct.
then board members who don't even understand their roles would of course try to want to stop you or impede in your own business because truly you are in control of the organization. You are the one who's been given charge to execute the programs. The board are really there for accountability, provide you advice, whatever supports that can help you reach your goal and not try to dictate how your programs or how you should go about your organization. And this is really one reason why I'm really very heavy on the board recruitment process. Because if you get the recruitment process right, a lot of these would naturally not even come up. Because
Exactly.
at the beginning, you must have been able to really state these are the responsibilities, these are the commitments, really having them understand their roles before they come in. that is really key. But when you don't even understand the roles, and these people you're bringing in don't even understand the roles, it's always going to be a loggerhead situation, and that's what we're having today. So I'm really very happy you're saying this, and I think founders, CEOs, executive directors, they need some sort of training. They need some sort of engagement to help them understand how to really guide and navigate their board. Because if you know how to guide and navigate your board, it means you're going to have a better experience, rather, because sometimes it's the board members actually stepping forward to want to go beyond their roles. But if you know their responsibilities, you can educate them better, help them understand their roles so that they can better support you. So, what kind of trainings do you think these board members, or the CEOs, the executive directors, what kind of training do they need to be able to help everyone understand their roles,
Sure.
everyone understand their responsibilities, so that there won't be this overlap that's causing this whole friction in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's twofold. Let's start with what you said about board recruitment and some of the things that we offer at Solutions Matter to our founders and our organizations. So, say for instance, there's an organization that's brand new, they don't even have their incorporation, and they come to us. We work with them and walk them through establishing their vision, their mission, their business plan, their operational plan. Then we do recruitment for them and help them identify high quality individuals to come. If there's a whole vetting process, so we take them through that interview process. We find them 8 to 10, 13 individuals that are committed, not to the individual, to the mission, the vision, the cause of what the organization stands for and what they're going to do. Then we
Mhm.
do orientation. We have an orientation for those new members. We then make sure that the founder has been equipped to do help with the interview process, bringing people along so they are aligned. They're aligned not around charismatic personality of the executive director or the founder, but aligned around the mission. Then there's a strategy planning session where all hands on deck, fleshing out the business plan, fleshing out the operation plan, fleshing out human resources, committees, all of those pieces. That's a healthy board. Now they're ready to go. Now let's talk about the boards that are existing that are, can I just say it, a hot mess. they've, been, they've been operating outside of everything. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. And so they have their hands over here in this cookie jar doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So for you founders that have board members that just haven't been oriented, I don't know if they came to the board because you invited them, they were your personal friend, or you worked with them as a colleague. However, they're there now. And they are not equipped to know what they're to do. They're mismanaging their roles in terms of being the visionaries for the board. We work with you in two ways. The first is to do board, we go back, we do a board roles and responsibility training. We help them understand what their legal obligations are as the board. We have them review the bylaws. We have them review all the policies, making sure that they understand that this is their sphere. This is where they operate. Making sure there is all of these policies in place, and then they provide that oversight around that. Then we offer our founders executive coaching, and that is really taking them through kind of a very meticulous set of once a month meeting with them to coach them around how to interact with their board, how to interact with high net worth individuals, because they should be people that are in front of people that can give six-figure gifts or more. We help them understand the art of the ask. What does it mean to be a leader of a nonprofit organization and be that spokesperson? So we help them with their elevator pitch, everything they need to equip themselves to be the leader of the organization, and how to lead their board meeting, how to really empower the chair to really take hold, because the board is peer-to-peer engagement. When
Mhm.
the founder sits at that table, they really sit at that table as an employee of the board. And so they are reporting back. You all gave us this mandate, board members. This is how we execute it. But you're not there asking for permission. You are reporting back. And so we have these things that we look at. And then we do audits. We help with planning out all of your resources. You know, my space that I operate in is fundraising and love resource development. But we can't even do that until these foundational pieces are in place. And let me tell you one story that happened this morning. I had a founder call me this morning and say that I just done a strategic visioning workshop planning with them, a day-long event. And the board were there. We have the plan in place. And one of the board members, that's an officer of the board actually, called the founder and said, I'm not exactly sure why we have to pay staff to work in the organization. Um, it looks, we put, the budget was put together, the fundraising plan was put together, but this person left the strategic meeting and the planning, got the report and said, we should only have volunteers. We shouldn't pay anybody, not even the founder or the executive director. So the founder called me and said, I don't know how to answer that question. I don't understand. So I called that board member and we had a chat. And she had never sat on a board before. She was on a board for her church. And they have a nonprofit that does work with orphanages in Haiti. Everybody that works is a volunteer. But what I said to her is, who is managing the program? Oh, the church staff. I said, keyword staff. Somebody's getting paid to oversee this entire operation. You may have 27 volunteers that go off to Haiti and do the work, but there's staff people behind the scenes, booking the airfare, making sure all the supplies are there. Oh, that's not a volunteer doing that. The church has designated staff to oversee that program. So even though you sit over here as a volunteer and you're a volunteer board and you're doing the work, this answered her question because she thought, oh, it can all be a volunteer run. I was like, if there's volunteer run, there's no accountability.
Mhm.
Why would you go and get a 501c3?
You want to do volunteer?
You're not a volunteer. So those are the kinds of things that come our way. Founders that come to us and say, my board won't let me spend money on XYZ. It's not their role. If a budget is set, the program budget is here, the staffing budget is there, everything is in place. Your job as the founder is to execute. You don't need permission from the board to spend a dime because if they've allocated the budget to do that, you spend it, you don't need permission. And lastly, is those that individuals that, and I've had two in the last week, that are founder led organizations and they are fully operating nonprofit with a board, with a staff, but those founders are spending money out of their own personal pocket to make make the rain happen, make the programs work. That's not necessary. It's uncalled for. You are doing that because you don't understand your role as a founder. So one of my tasks today is working with our organization. We're putting together all the job descriptions. So you got to understand what your role is. Because I would, even though I love the organizations that we work with and nonprofits, why would you go into your personal pocket to pay for a program with an organization that has a budget, but the
It's
board is allowing you to spend the money? That doesn't even make sense to me. I
you
think I
know
texted you in the middle of the night, but
Well, it's like, you all are saying we want this to happen, but when it's time to make it happen, you're like limiting the organization's ability to make it happen. It's a sad
it,
situation.
it
And
really
like
is.
you said, training, there has to be training for the founder, for the CEO, for the executive director, so you know how best to guide your board, so you know how best to help your board navigate these situations. And of course, these board members also need to be trained. If you already have them in, train them, make sure they understand your roles and responsibilities, make sure they know what they are there for and they're doing what they are there for.
Yeah.
And if you are bringing in new board members, make sure you take them through the standard process so you can be able to vet them, ensure they are well onboarded, they understand their roles, they sign to it, agree to it, and then you can bring them in. Of course, plan with them so you can find alignment, and then you all can begin to execute. I think, Sharon, you said it all. It's so wonderful. I'm
I got
so
to tell you
happy.
one other thing. The board that I told you had the members that have been there for 12 years. There is actually nothing we can do with that. No training in the world is going to help. So what we decided, the CEO and myself, was to just sort of let them be. And we will then take the CEO through a board recruitment process. So he won't be recruiting board members, he'll be recruiting advisory council members. And this will be the board that he'll work with. And then we'll give this group that's been there 12 years, we'll just give them something to do. Like, but he needs to start fresh.
Yeah.
He's new to the organization. They've been there, they've dug their feet in. Let's do the recruitment process with them, do the training, the orientation, and walk them through the process. And he'll be good and ready to go with fresh blood, people that's committed, understand their roles. So we can do that with any organization. So if you're a founder listening to this and you feel like my board is hopeless, I don't know what to do, we can do this board advisory council recruitment for you, because that way you'll have fresh people that are there, aligned with the mission, willing to give out of their personal pocket, really ready to bring in their network to support, and then you'll have people that are ready to go. Let us help you do that, because if not, you're over here spinning your wheels on a hamster wheel and nothing is going to get done. So
Wow.
those are my final thoughts on that.
Thank you so much, Sharon. And like Sharon said, the truth is, you could have a situation and maybe no way out. I know how frustrating that could be, but now you know what to do. You have a way out. Do not sit on this. Do not sit on your organization. Do not give up, because, of course, if you give up on your vision, you're going to be the one who's going to suffer at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Go for it. Go for training. Go for knowledge. Bring your board in for education, go find new board members, but do not sit on and continue on the situation, because we have to end this. Your vision is important, your mission is important, and you can do something to make it a reality. Thank you so much, Sharon, and thank you all for joining us today. Of course, I'm going to be getting Sharon here again to give us more, more wealth of knowledge. And so it's going to be Sharon, you have anything else for us today?
No, I'm excited to have been here. Hopefully, this lands with people who are feeling frustrated. Know that you can reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you and hear from you. Where are you in your journey? Because we have been doing this for over 30 years. And so there's pretty much nothing new to us, and we can help you actualize your vision. Because think about the people, the kids, whoever your population is that you're serving, that are being underserved because you are just spinning around and getting nothing done. So I'm excited. Thanks, Rooney, for having
Oh,
me.
wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. All right. Bye bye.